quarter. I thought they really were able to get a working margin. We didn't score the ball really well in the second quarter. I thought in the first half we left a lot of stuff out there that we needed in terms of plays that we've made all year. When we've gotten opportunities in the 4-on-3s, the 3-on-2s, the 2-on-1s, we didn't do that in the second quarter. Really hurt us. I think we ended up with 12 turnovers in the first half. I give them credit because they play fast. We knew they were going to play fast coming in. Very talented group of kids. Like their coach said, they love to play, and that really showed tonight. They really gave a lot of energy. I'm proud of my kids. They had a great season, and that's what we told. We didn't want to talk about winning that District 10 championship until it was over, and couldn't be prouder of them. So with that second quarter, I think getting outscored 18-9, that was kind of the difference in the game. And every time we would kind of cut into it there in the second half, get it down to 7 or so, and they would we'd have a turnover and they'd make a big shot. And like I said, they hit some big threes in the second half off of second chance points and different things where they got the offensive rebound and got that extra possession, and that's the key to winning games.
So you guys go on that 14-4 run to take the lead in the first quarter, and it seemed like that had kind of been the recipe for success all through the district playoffs, a big early run like that. But then North Catholic was able to answer. I mean, did you think at that point that, okay, here we go, maybe we've got a chance to do the same thing here?
Well, and watching the film and knowing how fast they like to play, I didn't think really today would be one of those days that any lead would be safe, unless maybe you were up with 20 with 2 minutes left, just because they play at that pace. And I've watched most of the games that we had film on them from, they were making shots. I always say there's kids that are, that some teams take tough shots, and there are some teams that make tough shots, and they were both, 21, the Hurry kid was as good as advertised. He averaged 21 points a game, I think, this year, and he was solid. But like I said, I just think that second quarter we left a little bit too much out there. When two teams are even, you got to get stops and put the ball in the hoop, and we didn't do a good job offensively there in that second quarter. We let it get away from us.
How big of a difference did their bench depth make? I mean, they're subbing 3 or 4 guys in at a time.
I actually think sometimes it was more trying to make sure we were matched up. I think my kids conditioned very hard this year, and that's one of the things I will say. I don't think they were super tired, but I know from the free throw line we were only 8 of 15. We left some out there, which we need to do better than that. Obviously, against a good team, when they put us at the line, we needed to be able to convert those. But yeah, I mean, when you play that style, and like he said, that's the way they practice. And in order to play the style, you got to practice that way, and that's what having 10 or 12 kids that are that talented can do for you. I look down my bench after kid 6 and I'm like, what am I going to do? And next year that'll be different. There'll be kids that'll develop over the summer. Logan was a prime example. Logan went from a kid that, definitely I thought would be a role player with him and Jacob and Chase and Johnny, and he really blossomed. He had a great summer. I've told the kids one of the things you're all going to have to do is get physically stronger.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
And you're going to lose a very talented, very, very talented senior class.
Yeah, I call those my 4 horsemen. They've been the cornerstone of the last couple of years, and Johnny and Dylan showed up every day. They worked hard, and sometimes your job is to make your teammates better. You're not going to get all the minutes you want, or your mom and dad want, but you're here, you want to be part of the team, and you put the work in every day. And sometimes those are the kids that need more credit than the kids that get out there and they get seen by their peers in the community. It's the kids that make, that are part of that program that help build it. And I really tip my hat to our JVs this year too, because they knew going into the playoffs, they had an extra 2.5-3 weeks of practice. They didn't have a chance in play, but they showed up every day. They worked hard, and that's a credit to them. And understand kind of what we want and expect it from them. And I thought we got that. So,
I'm sure it probably hasn't quite settled in yet, but last seconds you pull all those guys off the floor. How emotional was it for you, for the group as a whole, but then also to have Brady come off the floor on his home court for the final time?
Yeah, it's tough. I really haven't thought about it very much. I've told anybody that's asked me that I've really not decided what I want to do next year. I put a lot into it, 22 years worth of time and effort, and it's just one of those things that probably won't until I rewatch the game tonight and kind of let some things settle down. And I always, the first couple weeks afterwards, it's just really going into detox. I'm going to be here tomorrow to cheer the girls on. Hopefully they can get a W tomorrow. But yeah, it's just I'm sure it'll be a little bit more emotional for me when I have a chance to think about it.
Yeah.
So, but it's been like I said, having the ability or having the opportunity to coach 2 of your sons, it's been special, and I've enjoyed it.
And how much more special does it make this season as a whole when you look back on it? The great start, you start off 10-0, come through, roll through the district playoffs, get the first District 10 title for the program in 41 years. Just as a whole right now, when you look at the season, how special is it for you?
I mean, it's super special. I mean, and I think right now it's hard for me as a coach because you're only as good as your last game, and unfortunately, most teams don't get a chance to win their last game. So when I get a chance to, kind of to digest it, and I told the kids, we're not going to talk about winning that until the season's over with, and then we're going to go back and celebrate it. We're going to try to do some things with these kids because they deserve it. They need to be recognized for the type of effort that they gave, this year in pulling out some of those victories when we needed them. And it was a great ride this year, and that group has been that's been their goal since they were little kids. So since Gary and Tim had them when they were in 5th and 6th grade as 8-year-old kids, that's been their goal, is to get to this point, and they did it. So.
It's interesting. You say, you talk about we're not going to talk about the accolades yet until the season's over. And Connor Hoffman, when I spoke to him after the semifinal win, said something similar. He said, "There's nothing to celebrate. Job's not done yet."
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of that's been his mindset all the year is that that. He had in front of him, he wanted that championship, and Connor's a kid that he motivates people in different ways. He shows up and works hard, but he's also not afraid to tell other people when he doesn't feel they're giving their best, and I think that he did that a couple times and motivated some of his other seniors when we needed it, and that's a credit to him. And I don't think he, as a player, I know. Sometimes maybe he doesn't score all the points or get all the stats, but he is well respected by the coaches that he's played against, and a lot of them really he's one of their favorite guys because he's that guy that shows up and he wears the hard hat and he does the dirty work and he makes his teammates better, and that's a credit to Connor. And again, Connor comes from a different background. Connor's a kid that works. He goes to work every day. He comes to practice after work. He works all summer long. He does all, so he didn't get it. He doesn't have the same opportunities the other kids do because he's living a different lifestyle, and that's a credit to him to be as good at basketball and baseball that he is.
So, again, looking at it today, you talked about you're going to decompress a little bit and look over some things. But as it stands today, what does next season look like for this Dragon program?
I'm excited. Like I said, Chase and Logan are going to be the cornerstones that we can build around. I'm very happy with the JV team. I couldn't tell you what their record was, but I know that I thought they made progress during the year. There were things that Jeff and I wanted them to work on to get better at, because it's going to be a different squad. They have some different strengths and weaknesses, but I think that sophomore class moving to be juniors and a couple of those freshmen moving to be sophomores, they've had a taste of what it looks like, what it feels like, and now it's whether or not they want to commit to put that amount of work in.
Warren Coach Jeff Berdine, congratulations on a fantastic season, and thanks for taking some time with us.
Thanks, Brian.